make movies the way they did anymore. But you were in a couple of classic, you know what I mean? And I know a lot of people remember those, but Home of Angels, I'm curious, and I always wanted to ask that. How did you land that role? Whether it was big or not to you, how did you land the Home of Angels role, 1995?
I auditioned for it. I got the part, and that was that. It was a movie I did with Sherman Hemsley. Of course, it was George Jefferson, Abe Vigoda from the show Barney Miller, and he played Fish. And he was also in The Godfather was it part two?
Part two.
Godfather 1. And, it was a small little, low budget movie, but it was my first movie. So, while it didn't go on to do anything, it was still my first flick.
So it was your first movie? I did not know that. It just, I remembered you in it, but I didn't know it was your first movie. So how much you hold it to your heart today, now that we're about to be in 2021? Hopefully we are.
I'm sorry, what's the question?
Like that movie, because I did not know. So you dropping some jewels right now to me, Aries. Like, you say this was your first film. I've seen you on, so I'm going to ask you those questions later, but, sitcoms and things of that nature. Being that was your first film, what did it mean for an upcoming comedian as yourself, 1995, you actually have credit, I'm in a movie here, Home of Angels. Like, what was that feeling like? Just take me over there right quick.
I mean, it was good that I had something under my belt, and it was my first time, having experience in that type of thing. But, listen, I got more garbage movies under my belt and movies that didn't do shit than I got movies that counted. But that's part of it. Sometimes you got to do a bunch of bullshit before you get to the good shit, and that's just part of the game.
Right. I mean, I noticed people ask you about Jerry Maguire a lot, so that's one of my classics of all time. In fact, I didn't want to go with it today. I kind of wanted to ask something differently, because people don't really ask you about Home of Angels. And I kind of as a fan, I wanted to throw it out there. But let's hurry up and ask you this then. Why is it that everybody I ask who watched Jerry Maguire, shout out to Cuban Gooding Jr. and his father, Cuban Gooding Sr., and his brother, but my God, bro, your legendary character as the brother-in-law, it stood out the most throughout the whole scene. Why, after that role, we didn't see you in more bigger movies and you didn't get solidified as far as that? Because you took everybody.
It's a good question. This is a funny business, man. There's been, one of my favorite comedians, God rest his soul, was Patrice O'Neal.
Man, rest in peace.
And this is a business that doesn't make sense. There are times you do things and you feel like based on that piece of work, you should go on to become a star, right. And it sometimes don't happen that way. And then there are times you do things where you don't think it's going to do shit, and that be the thing that catapults you into stardom. So there's no rhyme or reason or no sense to any of this. All you got to do is keep plugging away till hopefully something happens. Right. The real story is when I originally auditioned for Jerry Maguire, I auditioned for Cuba's part. And the director, Cameron Crowe, really loved what I did. But he later told me, he was like, dude, I can't give you the Cuba part because it's too big. And for a role that big, opposite Tom Cruise, we need a bigger name. Thus, Cuba Gooding Jr. But he liked what I did so much that he offered me the role of the brother, and that's how I ended up doing that.
Right. Hey Smoke Gang, make sure you follow IsmokeHiphop platform on all media sites and social media sites, that is. Thank you for watching another great interview of IsmokeHiphop Live. Please make sure you subscribe for more. Love and blessings.